làm Acadian maple tour. Thank you, thank you. Oh, maple sample. Did you have one?
Oh, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Brian. This is our family business. This is how we started in our backyard up the road here in 1982. It was a hobby. I thought it was a good thing at the time, but anyway, it kind of proportion. And anyway, graduated from university, and now I'm working for him. So guess who's here on a Sunday working? Looking at cheap labor. Anyway, I'm only kidding. It's all good. He's home with his wife and young family. So it's all good. Anyway, Canada makes about 80%. It's only made in eastern Canada, in Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, and Scotia. The other 15% is made in the northeastern part of the United States, but mostly in those states that border Canada. Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, upper New York State. They do make it as far west as Minnesota and this is what we call the maple belt. It's the only place in the world where maple is made, so it's a very unique North American tree. It was discovered by the native population, but then when the European settlers arrived, like the lady in the painting here, they were very quick to pick up on this product because it's sweet. And back then, the taste of something sweet was extremely rare. Also, they didn't make maple syrup back then because they had nothing to keep it in. So what they did, they took the sap out of the maple tree, and what comes out of the tree is 98% water and only 2% sugar. They put it in these pots and they boil it and boil it. They boil all the water out of it, and what they ended up with was this, a hard block of maple sugar. Okay, so now they could keep it because it's in its dehydrated form, and they would use a grate to grate it, and with the granular sugar, use it like we use our sugar today. So we still make sugar. We don't get any calls for it like this anymore, but we get lots of requests for maple sugar, like this. So this will last a long time. As a matter of fact, my son and I made this one in 1998. Yeah, we haven't made any more because we haven't sold this one yet. Take off the marketing department. So the trees, there's about 75 varieties of maple trees around the world, but there's only 2 or 3 we can use to make maple with. This is by far the best one. It's called the sugar maple, and it's the leaf on the sugar maple that adorns our Canadian flag. So it's a sugar maple leaf. These trees have to be somewhere between 50 to 75 years old before we start tapping them. But once we start tapping them, we can tap them every year for over 100 years. And you can see how this lumber here has been all full of tap holes. Okay? Okay, so the season here goes from about the 1st of March to mid-April. So we hope to get a cold night where it's below freezing, followed by a day when the temperature goes above freezing. When it goes above freezing, that triggers the sap release from the root system and brings it up into the tree. That night, if it goes below freezing again, it goes back to the root system and stays there until we get another day when the temperature goes above. Now, the lady in the painting here, she had no idea whether the sap was going to run the next day or not. But today, we have a fantastic gadget that tells us exactly when the sap will run. Matter of fact, you may have heard of it. It's called Google. Everybody seems to have heard of Google. But we'll go to Google weather, and if it's going to be cold tonight and warmer tomorrow, then the sap will run. Okay, so in February, we have to start tapping the trees, and each tree has to be tapped each year. And the reason for that is because the old tap holes will heal over. So we have to put a new hole in the tree each year. So in the month of February, which is the coldest and the snowiest month, we put the snowshoes on and go from tree to tree. The old way of collecting sap was buckets. So we went through the wooden buckets, metal buckets, and of course today, like everything, they're plastic. But commercially, we use the rubber tubing system. And buckets are great. They're a lot of work, and it's great if you got a few trees in your backyard. But on a commercial scale, woodlot here, we've got a picture here with all the tubing, and in our woodlot there we've got 20,000 trees. So we couldn't possibly do that with buckets. So this infrastructure stays up year-round, but the new hole has to be put in the tree and the tap moves to that new hole. So now once the sap starts running, we get a lot of sap flowing. It's going to be boiled very quickly because that little bit of sugar in there is going to turn it bad very quickly. So we don't put anything into maple syrup. All we're doing is taking the water out of the sap. As we boil it and boil it, the sugar content gets higher and higher. And we have to bring it from 2% up to the industry standard of 66%. We don't want to get it over 68% because if we do, we get too much sugar. It's super saturated with sugar and it starts to crystallize. So we have to keep it between 66 and 68. So it takes a lot of sap out of the tree to make a little bit of syrup. And the ratio is 40 to 1. So it takes 40 gallons. Are you Americans? Okay. I never know whether I'm bilingual. I can speak in metric or. So yeah, so it takes 40 gallons. I'm old. That tells you my age because all the young people have no idea what a gallon is. Anyway. It takes 40 gallons of sap out of the tree to make 1 gallon of syrup. And this is about how much maple syrup we get out of each tree each year. So that's why maple is expensive. Okay, so once the maple syrup is made, it's put into these stainless steel barrels, and the maple producers keep them in the sugar camps around the province. Then during the year, because we operate 12 months of the year, we call them up and we get them to ship the maple syrup to our plant. Now our son, I told you about him, this is the young guy in blue here. He's a certified maple grader, but as you know he's older. And by the way, what we're doing there in the springtime, we take maple syrup, boil it down to a much thicker consistency, pack the snow down and pour strips of it on the snow. It makes an awesome toffee. And we give everybody a popsicle stick and they twirl it up. It's just absolutely to die for. And of course, up here in Canada, every child learns very early in life, this is the only yellow snow you're going to eat. So anyway, once the maple syrup arrives here, he puts it through a series of checks. One of the things he does is grade the syrup. And maple syrup is graded by color. So at the beginning of the season, the chemistry of the sap is different than it is at the end of the season. So every day it's changing. So at the beginning of the season, the syrup will be lighter in color. Then it gets progressively darker as the season goes along. Then around the 15th of April, give or take a few days, it loses the maple flavor altogether. And then we can't. The season's over, so we have to stop making it. So this affects the taste as well. So basically, the darker the syrup, the stronger the flavor. And here in Nova Scotia, people prefer the darker ones. It's called amber dark. That's because they use it in everything. Okay, so once it gets gasified, it goes into our storage tanks, and then we bottle here about 20 different sizes, and we ship it all over the place. We're only 20 minutes from the port of Halifax, so the European market is a big market for us. So we send container loads over there on a regular basis. Holland, Switzerland, all those places, as well as the grocery chains around here. Okay, now I know you're going to be anxious to find real maple syrup when you get home, so this is what you're going to look for, the word pure. That's a Canadian government regulated word, meaning there's only one thing in here, so there's no list of ingredients. Okay, so you know you got the real thing. If you're from the U.S., you know this one, log cabin? Does anybody here work for log cabin? Just checking. Okay. The back of log cabin, you'll see a list of ingredients, so you know it's not the real thing. Actually, there's only 4% maple syrup in log cabin. Okay? All right. So if you buy maple syrup and you don't open it, it'll last indefinitely. But once you open it, you should keep it in the refrigerator. And use it up in a reasonable length of time, say 2 or 3 months. If you're going to keep it longer than that, stick it in your freezer. Maple syrup will not freeze because of the high sugar content. Okay, that's all I know about the maple industry. So.
I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to tell them on the bus the rest of the story.
The rest of the story, yeah. So,
question. You got a question there, Brian?
Question, yes.
If you go to the grocery store to buy maple syrup, what percentage must it show on there as being
regulation in the US too. If you're using the word pure, then it's gonna be one thing. Okay? If not, call me, I'll check it out. Anyway, this is a product called maple butter. There's no butter in it, but it's used like butter. So you put it, it's only maple syrup. So in the process that you make it, it's like peanut butter. So you put it on toast and bagels. It's really a yummy thing. We have the sugar, maple barbecue sauce. Did you see the sign out there? Maple vodka? Okay. Well, well, this year, we have Steinhardt's making it for us. So we ship him the maple, and he makes maple vodka. Anyway, we put the sign up there, and I couldn't believe the number of people that come in. It was unbelievable. Normally, we change the sign once a week. I said, no, leave that up. It's incredible. Anyway, I guess people like vodka.
Where do you sell most of your? That was used a lot. Where do you sell most of your?
The maple syrup?
Yeah.
Here in Atlantic Canada, the 4 Atlantic provinces,
Okay.
Newfoundland, New Brunswick, PEI, and Nova Scotia. But our next biggest market is the European market.
Oh, okay. So you sell it in the grocery store here then?
Yeah, oh yeah. Okay, so if you're looking for something for grandchildren, here's a book about Acadian maple products and our family, how we got started. That's me right there. That's our son there. We do ship home. If you're interested in purchasing something, we have a ship home program. Just fill this out. We can ship it home for you. And we have an online store. So, any other questions? I'm sorry.
What is the online store site?
Yep, Acadianmaple.com. Very simple, and you can get a little slip out there and has everything on it. Yes? Oh.
No.
Yes.
In Indiana, in the western Indiana, on the Illinois border, we have a little town called Rockville. And we have a maple syrup festival there every February. And my question is, and it's kind of neat, and they show the whole process and so on. But is the difference going to be between your maple syrup, we'll say that maple syrup, because of the trees?
It's like it's the soil. It's grapevines can be grown in 2 different locations, and you'll have the slight difference in taste. There's another bus here. I want to get you folks into the shop there, okay? All right, so anyway, thank you. I hope you enjoy your stay. I hope you learned a little something about the maple.
Okay, boy. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
All right.
Thank you. There's a trash can over there. Nó làm sorry. Nó làm đường bằng maple á, cái cây maple. Ra mua những cái quà kỷ niệm này. Pure. Oh, đây gì đấy? Nouvelle Écosse. Juste de bluette sauvage pure. Are you waiting? Em đang ra nhà cái gì nữa? Đợi. Cây maple. Ngon lắm. Let's have trash. Let's have trash can.
Thank you.
Mixy. Oh, sorry. Halifax. Oh, wow.
Want to draw that? What? Wild blueberries here.
Canadian.
Hey, Dad.
Được. Cái đó hình như là kẹo chocolate đó.
Biết cái gì làm quà.
Dạ, đây là xem được. Được.
Quà.
Được. Trả bên kia kìa. Bên kia. Trả tiền bên kia kìa.
Cả tiền thôi.
À, dạ tiền nhỏ. Bố nhanh quá ha.
Chịu thế.
Ăn những cái kẹo miễn phí.